This week in Iowa, President Joe Biden accused Russia of committing genocide in Ukraine. Biden said President Putin is, quote, wiping out the idea of even being Ukrainian.
More evidence is coming out of literally the horrible thing that the Russians have done in Ukraine. And we're going to only learn more and more about the devastation. And we'll let the lawyers decide internationally whether or not it qualifies. But it sure seems that way to me.
Joining us with more on this and to give us a look at Putin's mindset at this stage of the Ukraine war is Russian-born former Defense Intelligence Agency officer and intelligence expert on Russian affairs, Rebekah Koffler. Ms. Koffler is author of Putin's Playbook, Russia's Secret Plan to Defeat America. Rebekah, it's always good to see you. Good to talk to you again. So is Vladimir Putin guilty of committing genocide in Ukraine? What do you think of Biden's allegation?
Delighted to be here with you, Gary, and your audience. President Biden's thoughts are on the right track. Putin has committed unconscionable atrocities, but it doesn't mean that President Joe Biden needs to verbalize every thought that comes to his mind. The calls for regime change, as well as Senator Lindsey Graham's advocating for the Russians to remove President Putin are actually very dangerous calls. The Russians have always suspected that regime change was an official U.S. policy. And so this kind of verbiage actually feeds into Putin's narrative and is going to make him double down on his offense against Ukraine. And he's planning to escalate in order to finish this conflict off by May 9th, which is a significant holiday for the Russians, at least the active combat phase of this conflict.
Well, he's digging in his heels, isn't he? This week he said he'll continue the military campaign in Ukraine until his goals are fulfilled. In the wake of his losses, Rebekah, especially in attempting to take Kyiv, he appointed a new commander in Ukraine, the Butcher of Syria, who leveled and depopulated Aleppo. So what does that tell us? What are Putin's goals at this point?
As the Russians like to say, it is not by chance, comrade. He's very proficient at the use of chemical weapons. The use of chemical weapons is consistent with the Russian doctrine. The Russians studied, they trained for it. And the fact that Putin is losing in Ukraine compared to his original goal, which was to topple Kiev and to decapitate the Zelensky government, he has not achieved those. And so he's switching to plan B. So I do not rule out the possibility of Putin employing chemical warfare tactics. In fact, he has already done so by striking a chemical plant in Sumy and creating an ammonia leak. This is what the Russians called asymmetric warfare.
Well, there were allegations this week made by the mayor of Mariupol that Russia actually used chemical weapons there. Can you verify that? What have you learned?
I am not currently in the position to verify this. The intelligence is not straightforward on this. Even the Pentagon has not been able to independently verify it. And that means that we don't have good intelligence on the ground. But what I can tell you, Gary, that it is very consistent with the Russian doctrine. And I do not rule out the possibility that it was actually Russia's hand that was behind this attack.
Well, what is Putin's mindset right now? Is he crazy? Has he gone mad? Or does he know exactly what he's doing? He wouldn't attack NATO, or would he?
He knows exactly what he's doing, Gary. He's not mad or crazy in the sense that he doesn't have any mental anomalies, as assessed by a former U.S. Air Force officer who is also a psychiatrist. No, this man knows exactly what he's doing. He has prepared this plan for the past 20 years. He never made it a secret. Unfortunately, we never paid attention. No, he is not looking to attack NATO. Any NATO country, Poland, Romania, even the Baltics are not on the target list. But what is on the target list is Ukraine, along with any post-Soviet state. Putin wants to reestablish control of the former Soviet republics. But the kicker is, and the nuance is that Putin is prepared if the Russian intelligence services assess that NATO or the United States or any country that's part of NATO is about to intervene. He will activate a preemptive doctrine that will include 5 instruments: cyber attacks, space warfare, nuclear escalate to de-escalate strategy, which is a low-yield nuclear warhead that could explode on the territory of Ukraine, and other options that I described in my book, Putin's Playbook, Russia's Secret Plan to Defeat America.
Okay, things are getting more dangerous. We'll have to wait and see how things develop. Intelligence analyst Rebekah Koffler, thank you so much, Rebekah, for taking the time to provide us with those insights. We appreciate it.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you, Gary.